Hello, collective. Welcome to the Moon Report. My name is Marlene. I am your resident moon goddess, the modern mystic, and I am so happy to share space with you again. As always, thank you for those of you who support live. Just know that if you are part of the Anima Collective, you can always join us here in this space. You can find the Zoom link in Mighty Networks. And if you're catching the replay, thank you so much for supporting and watching. Welcome, welcome. We have a full moon in Scorpio, and I have to say that I am definitely feeling it, collective. I am feeling wobbly. I am feeling vulnerable. I am feeling sad and as if I'm processing some deep emotions that I can't quite name or place. And the reason that I'm sharing all of this with you is because in spaces like this, if you come here and you do moon reports for us and you're walking the mystic path, you're always going to run into roadblocks, energetic shadows. And that's just part of what we do here to evolve. And if you're moving in these spaces, then you've probably had your share of roadblocks or shadows, right? And I wanted to share how I was feeling because it's so good to feel like you're not alone during times of heaviness and when you're processing deep, deep emotion and transforming a lot of shadows in your life. And this is a moon that comes along with that energy. So, what's something that you can expect? Change, change, and more change. We've been in the season of change. We're just coming out of a eclipse portal, super intense. We are still in a Mercury retrograde until the 25th of April. And now we are in a full moon in Scorpio that is asking us to leave behind the things that no longer serve us and the things that hold us back from becoming who we want to become, the individual that we strive to be. And sometimes those things, those things that get in the way aren't things. They're perceptions, their beliefs, their emotions. And we may be dealing with the gamut of things from the past coming up, things in terms of relationships. Some of maybe our relationships are ending. Maybe new and exciting opportunities and relationships are beginning. And that's bringing in some fear or some apprehension. So, wherever you're feeling right now, just know that whatever is going on at this time is for the purposes of healing. You are going to come out of the other side with something transformed and transmuted, guaranteed. So let's dive into the specifics because this is like energetic information being transmuted. And sometimes we don't know how to hold that in our bodies. Sometimes that could be a little difficult to transmute because it feels foreign or it feels like you don't know what's going on. You can't name it, you can't place it. It just feels weird. So just know that there's a lot inside of you moving, transmuting, transforming. And this is all for your higher good and for your highest vibration. But sometimes the logistics and the steps of that are quite uncomfortable. So, right now we have two major players with this full moon. One of them being Pluto, which this full moon is squaring, and then Uranus, because it's been conjuncted, right? It's met up with Jupiter, which is an expanding planet. So the change that Pluto brings and the change that Uranus brings is completely different. Uranus brings in change where it's more kind of like intellectual or perceptive, and it awakens you in ways that happen all of a sudden. Uranus rules electricity and lightning. So when the information comes in, it changes you in the moment. Right there, you just feel different. And it, like I mentioned, it conjuncted, it came close to Jupiter, right? And they were having a conversation about how this expansive energy can change you in a way where you change your life, where you declare a personal revolution to bring in closer the things that you want in your life. And you may not be acting on them right now because you're not quite clear. And during a Mercury retrograde, that's very common. And if you don't know right now, it's okay. But there is a feeling, a calling, a change, a transformation that is making you maybe see things in a different way, in a different light. Pluto brings in change that's more emotional. He rules death and rebirth and regeneration. So we are having a death moment, whether that's happening physically in some of our lives, metaphorically, like our beliefs are literally transmuting, and we are changing the way that we even relate to people in our lives. And that Jupiter Uranus conjunction only happens every 14 years. So, my God, think about 14 years ago. How many things have changed? I think maybe I dare to say that the way that we look at the world entirely has changed because of the events that have happened within 14 years. So now this revolution that we set forth has to come along with your emotions changing, things that have to die inside of you so that other things are born, things that get in the way and you have to leave behind because they don't let you fully live. So, as we're tearing down the old and inviting the new, we are also being asked to look at things differently and what it is that we allow and accept in our lives. How are you raising the bar? And all these things are good, but again, they come with instability. They come with, you know, your nervous system being unregulated, dealing with hard things that you have to face, moving into hard conversations, dealing with sudden change where your life is going in one direction and just one phone call changes that trajectory. It's abrupt and we are going through it collectively. You are not alone. All of us have some of this that I'm talking about happening in some area in your life. Some people are feeling it more intensely, others, it may be more subtle. But this energetic information is transmuting inside of you. So if you haven't been able to place why you're feeling this way or that way, just know it's okay to have some grace and you don't have to know. There is shadow work available here for you. And if you're not familiar with shadow work, it's that opportunity that we get to face the darkness inside of us so that we can transmute that into light, so that we can transmute that into self-love and power. We all have darkness that we need to move through. And it's moons like this that allow us to release this type of information. It's just going to require for you to face it. and to have the courage and the bravery to do what it is that you need to do to move through it. And that's not always easy. There's pain and struggle that comes along with that. But what I can say and what I do know is that on the other side of that, there is a lot of life-changing healing. And if you do find yourself courageous and willing to face these things, the reward on the other end is expansive. It's really magical, and you may be experiencing throughout all this chaos a lot of magic in your life right now if you really take a moment and look and reflect and observe. I'm sure there are opportunities and things that give you hope showing up in your life. And in times like this, faith, hope, trust, these are the things that we need to lean into so that we can do the deep work. In times like this, I suggest that if you do have a support system like a therapist, a mentor, a healer, um, reach out to someone you trust, because it makes a world of difference to talk things through with someone that you love and trust, and that you know that their feedback is going to be something that you can rely on. We are not meant to do this alone. And a lot of what's happening here with Aries and Libra and the North Node, and where these eclipses just happen, is to show us that we deserve better relationships, or relationships that match your vibration better, and that we get to preserve ourselves in the process. And there are people that are going to love and accept us the way that we are. A lot of authenticity is trying to be born inside of you right now, all of us. And that's not easy, especially if you're not showing up in an area in your life where you're not coming as your full self and you're not in your full power. So reflect and ask yourself, because, you know, it's going to require for you to let go and release. And this is a wonderful full moon to do a release ceremony or a cutting of the cords ceremony. You know, maybe even just like a clearing of your chakras, a session with your healer, something that can help you move that energy out. And a lot of grace and acceptance about where you are right now. Be where your feet are at. Wherever you are is where you're supposed to be. And sometimes that's not an easy pill to swallow. But just know that once you accept that, there's an opportunity for you to change. Once acceptance moves into our hearts and we can forgive ourselves for whatever it is that's freaking going on, now you've given yourself a true opportunity to change. And that's all that I really feel that is required of you right now. Just that awareness, just really, you know, having that vulnerable moment with yourself and being like, okay, this is not working for me. This person, this thing, this job, this direction, I need to pivot. And whatever that pivot is, just know that it's showing up for the purposes of healing. And all of this confusion and all of this discomfort, it's for a purpose. And the more that we just lean into it, the better it is. And the journey will be a lot more pleasant. And that's what I know for sure, that it's time to flush out. It's time to flush out the grief, the loss, you know. It's hard to move forward when you're using recycled thoughts and recycled information. Something new cannot be born from something that's just recycling. So now is the time. Use this energy to cut away what no longer serves you, and then just know, trust, have faith in that it's done. That it's done, and that you're going to follow up the self-care and what your body needs to now integrate this new information about who you're becoming. And it's really exciting. It really is. And we're at the home stretch. You know, I I have to say that this cycle really has an opportunity to end if you want it to. If you really put intention right now, a lot of things, not everything, because this is a lifelong journey, but a lot of things that you've been wanting to leave behind, you really have the opportunity to do it right now. If you believe in yourself, and if you believe in the power of nature, if you believe in the power of your source, if you believe in the power of yourself, now is the time. So use this energy, get creative. It's super magical, it's super galactic. Like there's energies coming into the planet right now that we've never experienced ever. And it is kind of far out, and without getting too woo-woo, it is that vibration of like something beyond us. And that's energy that we get to now invite in and get really innovative with and create amazing freaking things. But do the work. I encourage you, do the shadow work. And again, if that's something that you need support through, then reach to your Anima Collective, sister or friend, mentor. You can always reach out to me. Shadow work is one of the things that I think that I'm really, really good at, and I can support a lot of women through. Um, so, you have resources if you're watching this. Reach out, reach out, because right now is such a magical time to leave all your BS behind and really come and do what it is that you came here to do. Like, let's see what this body and this incarnation can do. All of those dreams and all of those aspirations and goals, let's do the work so that you can get to that. Okay, so let's make space for the new. And let's do that together. And it's communities like this where you can get that help. So I'm so, so grateful that you're here in this space, and enjoy these energies, work with these energies, get magical, do a ceremony, burn some stuff up, and use this time to move forward and be bold and take bold, inspired action, because the time is now. Okay, collective, take care. I will see you in the new moon and after this freaking retrograde. Amen.